How's it going, everyone? Liam Catterson here as we react to Buffy the Vampire Slayer episode 10 for season 4. This is titled Hush. Looking forward to getting into this season once again with Buffy, especially regarding last episode, which, you know, I'd say calling it nuts would be a bit of an understatement. Buffy, as someone, said on my Patreon page, it was just a eerie sight to see. Strangely enough, in the past week of reacting, that wasn't the oddest thing that I saw. I just finished watching season 2 of Dollhouse. I won't say what, but something really did make Liam EXE stop responding, so yeah. But last episode was absolutely fun. It was heartbreaking regarding Willow, and I just want to go into the TV screen and hug her, but it did also produce some really insane moments, and yeah, I'm just really looking forward to continuing season 4 of Buffy as we enter double digits for this season. So with that said, let's get into episode number 10 for season 4 of Buffy the Vampire Slayer. This is Hush. Let's go.
This feels very strange.
Don't worry. If I kiss you, it'll make the sun go down.
Wait, what?
Knocking on doors, they need to take 7 and they
Nope.
might take
Nope.
yours.
Nope.
Can't call
Nope.
some mom, can't say a word. You're gonna die screaming, but you won't be heard.
Oh, she!
The gentleman.
Don't know.
You certain?
No. We're out of Weetabix.
We are out of Weetabix because you ate it all. Again.
Hey,
Guess
they
what?
are very, very addicting.
I thought vampires were supposed to eat blood.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean they can be
sometimes I like
restricted to it.
crumble up the Weetabix in the blood. Give it a little texture.
Since the picture you
Nice.
just painted means that I will never touch food of any kind again. Oh yes, well, I meant after sunset. I need you to take Spike for a few days.
What? What?
What?
Babysitting Spike.
Him?
I have a friend who's coming to town, and I'd like us to be alone.
Oh, you mean an orgasm friend?
Yes, that's exactly the most appalling thing you could have said.
He's not roaming around. If he stays in these, he's gonna get tied up again.
What about us? Of spells. You know, conjuring, transmutation.
Oh, yeah. Then we could all get on our
Firebolt.
broomsticks and fly around on our
Lightning
broomsticks.
bolt.
You know, certain stereotypes are not very empowering.
I think that one person's energy
Why
can
not?
suck the power from an entire circle.
What's going on? Whatever you're taking, please give it back. So don't think it's yours. Oh no. Okay, this is gonna be fun. And then why would why would he do it to himself though, Xander?
Override code incorrect. Lethal countermeasures engaged.
Oh no. Oh no. Yeah, in case of an emergency. I love this. Can't even shout, can't even.
Advised to stay home and rest up. The Centers for Disease Control have ordered.
Why does this sound familiar all of a sudden?
No one can go in or out until the
Quarantine, don't leave. Public area shut down.
We'll bring you more on that as it develops.
Because there will be chaos. You will help keep order.
They've got message boards.
A military presence.
You've got, like, windows helping you. Words can't express how much I love you. Why are you having to be creepy? Like, I don't like this. My freaking hell. No! Okay, stop! Will you stop? Fudge! I don't like this. I'm calling it now. These guys are the creepiest creatures we've seen on this show. Fuck. This is... oh god, very graphic. Anya. For God's sake. Oh, I love this show. Oh no, 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 no. Run, girl. Let's run. Let's book it. Oh my, what the f... Yikes! Very incriminating. Oh no. Oh, he does care for her though. Oh god. Oh, there we go. Power of 2, awesome. I'm gonna say this whole concept is mesmerizing. There we go. Hey! If they don't like the sound, oh god.
Besides, spells going awry, friends in danger. I'm definitely nothing special.
No, you
Get
are.
there. See, she sees a lot of potential, and I do too. Not just because you're my favourite.
I guess we do.
We're just gonna end here like silence is the best answer. Yeah. Oh my god, I just love that. I just love that ending. Like, for both of their words cannot like grasp the situation of both each other's roles. But for this episode, with how things went by, it makes perfect sense to end just like that. We need to talk, where silence was, where silence has fallen apparently. So yeah, gotta say that was probably my favorite episode ever of Buffy the Vampire Slayer. My god, that was the concept, the gentleman, everything just seemed to fall into place really well. Like, it was funny, it was tense, morbid. Concept was absolutely smashing. I think there is only one other show that can pull something like this off, and it wouldn't even be 10 times as good as what Buffy is. Damn, that was absolutely smashing. You know, if I knew what this episode was going to be, I would have subtitled it only. No. Wonderful stuff. Holy shit. Like, I love Buffy, don't get... Like, I'm a sucker for any Buffy episode. Buffy has been an absolutely amazing show. And I've loved the majority of the episodes that have gone by. But I think this is up there, like, it definitely with Passion, with Becoming Part 2, the Prom. Yeah, this is like the Mount Everest of season 4. It's just been absolute. It was a treat. It was really good stuff. We had revelations. We had seemingly new characters who might be of importance throughout the season. And like I said, the concept, the antagonists and their motivation, as well as some of the scenes that came about because of this this silence effect. It was wonderful. I just loved this episode so much, more than I do with your with most episodes of Buffy. Like I said, I love Buffy, but this was on another level. Holy dang. Honestly, that was my favourite episode of all time for Buffy so far. I'm just amazed with the execution of that episode. The concept was absolutely inspiring. It was really great stuff, and I just loved everything from the start to the finish, with how the start sets things up with communication and how it was a dream. Like, the gentleman operated within the nighttime, or they began what they did at 1 o'clock, wasn't it? So yeah. And yeah, everything was just really well done. I loved everything. The music choices, the concept in general, it was just really well done, and I have to applaud like Whedon for producing such a terrifying, well constructed script, because it must have been a bit difficult in like, how are you going to tell a story that's basically mute for like half an hour? And it worked so well. Like, some of the ways of communication without being able to speak was done really well. Like Giles comforting Willow and Buffy, for example, as well as some of the moments like Tara comforting Willow as they were able to isolate themselves in that room. The kiss and the revelation. Yeah, I feel like the story did really, really well in terms of being able to communicate without being able to speak. So, yeah, and like I said, there was a lot of tense moments. There was a lot of funny moments as well. A lot of things happened within this episode, and the antagonists, the gentlemen, nightmare fuel. I think they are the true definition of just nightmare fuel, but I think they work so well because every little bit about them is like just extraordinary. Like everything attached to the gentleman is just very mesmerizing. Like, they had their minions, their motives were absolutely horrific, especially with the idea that you can scream but nobody can hear you. It's really, really disturbing. Like, you can operate and no one's gonna hear you scream. So yeah, it's a very, very disturbing concept. Not just that though, but their smile as well. Very horrific. They even added a jump scare in because why not? And I just love how sophisticated they are. Like, when they got the heart of that kid, like there was like that applause and there was like thank you, and oh my god, it was very, very horrific. So I gotta applaud like the concept of the gentleman, because it certainly did freak me out at first glance, because the makeup really was a standout point as well. But yeah, like I said, that would only escalate, especially with the way they moved as well. Like, they were hovering off the ground. So yeah, it was pretty haunting stuff. So the concept of the gentleman were just absolutely terrifying, and like I said, I think it's probably the most terrifying adversary we've had on Buffy the Vampire Slayer thus far, because of just, like I said, every little bit about them just is mesmerizing on a like creepy scale. It was very haunting, and it left an impression on me. So yeah, I think, like, I haven't been as freaked out. There's been quite a few like intimidating adversaries, but I don't think any have like been at the level that the gentlemen have been at for me. So yeah, but yeah, you could say I don't want to talk about this episode. Yeah, I like, you were just trying to think of a good quippy like line to come up with to describe this episode, so I think that's the best I could offer. I don't want to talk about this episode, but yeah, like I said, this episode was written supremely well in terms of like being able to convey like dialogue without having to voice it. Like, some of the moments in this episode were just really great stuff, especially the presentation, which I love so much. Like, just Giles presenting it and having those like cute depictions of the gentleman and how murder happy they were, as well as Buffy doing the and Willow's over dramaticness of the gentleman dying because of like a person's voice. It was really, really well done as well. So it was like the presentation bit is probably my favorite scene of this episode. Just with the music as well. like I said, the depictions of the gentleman and how everyone reacted, and Anya eating popcorn during this, it was nuts. I loved it. So yeah, it was a great episode, and like I said, there was some really, really good moments, like Giles and Spike pairing up, but then he got shifted to Xander's house because he was having some. He was basically being the Ripper with Olivia, so who I think was in episode 1 of this season. So it was nice to see her return. Yeah, I thought putting Xander with Spike. Spike with Xander, should I say, was like just brought out some gold moments, because like there was squabbles going on. Like Xander was like accusing him of taking his voice, and as well as the awkward positioning of Anya and Spike as well, where he thought that Spike got to Anya, and then of course Spike tormenting Xander. Very, very fun stuff. But yeah, it was great. Tara, we were newly introduced to her, who seems like she's going to be a bit of a big deal. I thought she was in some association at first with the gentleman, but no, it seems like she's going to be a bit of a prominent member for Buffy. Like, she's going to help Willow out. So, yeah, that's going to be really, really good stuff to see. Like, Willow getting the help that she deserves to improve herself. So, and I think she needs a bit of light in this dark time for her, because she's currently not in the best of places. So someone giving her a bit of glimmer of hope would be welcoming, I feel. So, yeah, just don't be some kind of like baddie, like secret baddie Tara, where you have to where Willow has to make a deal with you or whatever. Like, don't have a hidden agenda, basically. But speaking of that, we got Buffy and Riley finding out about each other, which is great. Gotta say, I love how the episode did end with, we need to talk about it. I had a feeling they were going to go with the whole, we're not going to hear the discussion. With that being the premise of this entire episode, we're not going to be able to hear anything. But I've just got to say, I feel like Riley and Buffy discovering each other in this episode and what they do was perfect. I feel like any other episode, it would have been a cliche reveal, but it had that little sprinkle of like that little sprinkle of brilliance with this episode, because they can't react with their voice. They can only be like stunned, wide-eyed, etc. Whereas on another episode, you could have been like, oh my god, you're like with this initiative group. Oh my god, you're like, what the hell are you? Yeah, I feel like this episode was the best episode to have them to finding out about each other, because they are limited in terms of reactions. So, yeah. So I really, really like the fact that they found out about each other in this episode, and the fact that they got a kiss in as well. So, yeah. But also, I really loved going back to Tara as well, because I forgot to make a little note on this as well. I kind of feel like Tara is kind of like a reflection of a younger Willow. Like, Willow was quite like shyish, like when we first saw her, like in Buffy, like with Buffy and Cordelia, and Willow was quite cheapish. I feel like that's kind of a reflection of like if Tara and Willow are going to be like aiding one another, or Tara's going to help Willow out. I feel like there was a deliberation of having Tara being a bit like where she basically couldn't get a word in edgewise, because it's kind of like a reflection of Willow, where Willow has grown a lot more in confidence. She's in a place that is basically heaven for her, although it's not been a heavenly experience thus far. Just she's not happy with the way the Wicca group has deviates from what it should be, as she's voiced out. She's clinging on to like what a Wicca group should entail, and everyone else is like, bake sale, let's do it. So yeah, I feel like Tara kind of does reflect a younger Willow, where she couldn't get a word in edgewise and she was a bit more unconfident, where Willow, I mean, she will still have that, like, issue, but she's grown a lot more in confidence, so, yeah. Yeah, I really loved how this episode was just conveyed. Like I said, the idea was absolutely genius. And it brought out some really spectacular moments. I just can't, credit this episode enough, because this episode was a fantastic concept that was executed perfectly, I feel. Like I said, some of the way that communication really aided the characters without the ability to speak brilliant stuff. There were some really fun moments, and I like how, there was a theme of actions spoke louder than words, especially for Anya and Xander's relationship, because of course there were cracks in the beginning of this episode, and Xander was not able to communicate how he felt through words. So actions spoke louder than words, and you saw how relieved Anya was that Xander basically defended her. There was no ability to speak, but actions speak louder than words with that side. So yeah. There was also funny moments with the initiative with the voice confirmation protocol, Riley couldn't be able to speak, so, and what made it funnier was that there's always the stairs. So yeah, I really loved that. And people selling boards, message boards, I think it was $10 as well, which is extortion. Sell them for $5 if anything, if you're that desperate, but 10 is just, you may as well just turn into a criminal and rob someone on the street, because bloody hell. I don't even think they're going that much on Amazon anyway, so yeah, but yeah, it was really, really fun stuff. Oh my god, I loved this episode. Just the way it was constructed. This is something that I would love to rewatch over and over again. I just, every scene was just perfect. And I just loved the way it just played out. Like I said, the concept was absolutely impressive. And like I said, I feel like they could do this on another show, Legends of Tomorrow probably. But it wouldn't be as good as what this episode demonstrated. Because I think, the concept was good, yes. But there were certain factors that helped things, like revelations, for example. The gentleman's appearance and how sinister they were. Things really flowed for that episode that I don't think any other show could replicate. So I really loved how this episode was devised, because it was standout. And yeah, this was my favorite episode of Buffy so far. Ever. Not just of season 4, ever though. So, we're going to move into the second half of Buffy Season 4 next time, I feel like. Yeah, it'll be 11, so, yeah. Which is really, really strange, because this season has flown by, and you'd expect it to slow down a bit, reacting to Angel at the same time, but, yeah, it's just flown by, so,